Welcome to the Anonymous Andrew podcast, Life and the Choices We Make, the choices other people make. This podcast explores all things as they relate to dating and romantic relationships, why we sometimes ignore or choose to ignore or miss the red flags. Red flags like gaslighting, cheating, lying, narcissistic behavior, deception, addiction, and so much more. Join me each week as we continue my journey into the modern dating world with my weekend rants, anonymous guest dating stories, and experts who share their wisdom so we can better navigate the dating terrain. If you are new to the show or have been with me from the beginning, hold on tight for the Anonymous Andrew experience. Greetings, Anonymous Andrew. Life and the choices we make, back with another episode. So today, normally you would be hearing another weekend rant. And if you've noticed over the last couple of weekends, I have not done a rant. Why? Well, going through the computer over the last few weeks, I have been trying to clean up all the episodes and archive them because there are many. I'm in season 2 and I have over 150 episodes that I have done, and they have to go somewhere. They can't just sit on the PC. And I came across some lost episodes, meaning I recorded them, but they never got aired. And that's what happens when you're a one-man show. You know, I'm producing this and editing it and everything, except I do have another team member, Lindsay, now helping me with my social media, but that's not helping me with the episode. So I am bringing to you today another lost episode, and this gentleman, his name is Aisen Li. And he is a dating coach for men and specializes in Asian men, but helps all men. And okay, ladies, I've heard you. I have been getting feedback from the ladies saying we want dating coaches for women. Apparently, I haven't had enough. So I am into the equal equality for all genders. So I do have lined up for you female dating coaches. I'm recording one tomorrow, actually. In the meantime, you're going to get this one, and then I think I have one more next week, and I think next week is also going to be a female coach, another lost archive episode. And then after that, I think we'll go back to the weekend rants. Just as a footnote on this episode, the audio quality is not up to par. Back in the summer of 2023, I was still using some very basic software, and I've upgraded since then. So you're going to hear lower quality audio. Also, you're going to hear, if you listen carefully, or don't, humming in the background because it was 97 degrees. We were having a heat wave, and I had my AC on, and I'm telling you, I tried to do it without the AC, and I was like sitting in a sauna for an hour, and it was just not going to happen. So I had to turn the AC back on. And just as a teaser, this coming Tuesday, my continuing series in exposing the Twin Flames Universe, a.k.a. cult, I have a woman who rented her home, or a room in her home, to Jeff and Shalia. You have got to hear this episode. It is a peek into the early days of Jeff and Shalia before Twin Flames got off the ground. You're going to want to hear this one. Until then, this episode with Aisen Li. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you on the other side. Hello, everybody. Anonymous Andrew back with you, and I have a very special guest on today's episode. Today, I'd like to welcome Aisen Li. And Aisen is a dating coach for men and he specializes in the Asian men community. Good evening, Eisen. How are you?
Great, great, Andrew. Thanks for having me here.
Okay, thank you for joining me tonight. Um, Eisen, you have a very interesting profile and bio. I did read it and watch the some of the YouTube videos. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Aisen Li, and I'm from Austin, Texas. And currently, I help guys with confidence, mindset, and dating. And the reason why a lot of Asian men gravitate towards me because they see themselves, they see me in themselves. So they resonate with my background, they resonate with my upbringing, and they see, oh, this guy looks kind of like me. Maybe I can get success as well. So, and I love doing it. It's very fun. It's very fulfilling because a lot of times people don't realize their potentials unless, I help them tap into them.
Okay, so we discussed this earlier, but let's let the audience know you're not a matchmaker.
Mm-mm.
Okay, you're a dating coach. So,
That's right.
um, in the past 15 years, coaching has become mainstream now. What is a dating coach? Explain what that is, or what how it applies to what your practice, your
Right,
coaching.
right. So a dating coach is someone that helps another person with dating, right? Understanding their goals and getting themselves into the relationship or their dream dating life. So it's not a pickup artist per se. So a pickup artist is someone that uses strategies, tricks, pickup lines, or different tactics to get a woman, right? For us,
For hookup.
right,
Yeah.
right. For us, it's a lot different in that I focus more so on the mindset, the internal things. So in order for that person to date the person they want, they have to first be the best version of themselves, right? Have that confidence, overcome these limiting barriers they may have.
So, the typical client that would come to you is looking for long-term romance, a marriage or long-term relationship. He's not looking, or would he be looking just to date? Because I did
Right.
notice
They
in your
might be
profile.
looking to date, but it's all about dating with integrity and honesty. It's not about trying to
Okay.
pretend to be someone else because that doesn't yield long-term results. You can
No.
fool someone for a night or two, but then like if they start talking to you and you're not that person, they're gonna feel like they're being bamboozled, right? Because you're putting on a facade that's not true.
And that mask will fall off eventually. So,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Well, in your story, you you emigrated here when you were 9 years old from China,
Mhm.
and you went to Texas, and in your bio you talk about how your family did not encourage you to date. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. Yeah, most Asian families, we just focus on going to school, getting good grades, going to a good college, finding a good career, and then afterwards, that's when dating is encouraged.
Okay. So going through high school was probably you didn't have a lot of girlfriends. You were
Yeah, I wasn't really sure how to talk to women, just people in general. I had a tough time like making friends because I wasn't social in that way. I was kind of shy, introverted. I also had a lot of acne growing up too, so that didn't help at all.
oh, that's a trick the universe plays on teenagers. I
Mhm.
had it too. Um, okay. Um, but yet somehow you graduated. I'm guessing you did go off to college.
I did, yeah.
Okay. Walk us through that transformation from that upbringing, that high school experience, college experience. When did you start dating women, and how did that go for you, being naive in that area?
Yeah, I started trying to talk to women in my later years of high school, around 17, 18. And that's when I had a car. I could actually go out of the house without
Yeah.
asking my parents to give me a ride. And then in college is when I had more freedom, right? Obviously, living away from home and you have so many people on campus. That's when I started meeting women and really taking them out on dates. So that's the first thing. But also, I think having acting was kind of a blessing in disguise because that made me rely on my personality rather than my looks to connect with people, attract people. So growing up, obviously I was shy, but then having acne made me a little bit more shy. But then I realized that, hey, I can't let that determine the person that I am. I gotta be myself, right? I gotta have confidence regardless of what my skin looked like at the time. So that helped me. So going to college, I was actually in a Asian fraternity. So I connected with some of the people there. And then I was actually a lot better than some of these other guys. And I see a lot of them, how I saw myself, like, wow, these guys are very similar to me. They needed help with just communications and like being more open with other people, especially with women. So I started helping them, giving them actionable steps, tips, encouragement, motivation. And that's how my journey got started.
Okay, and if I read it correctly, you were a model at one time.
That's right. That's right.
I'm
After college, I wanted to be a model because as a kid, I also lived in Europe, and my mother at the time, she had a boutique shop, little clothing store in Europe. So I was like, surrounded. I was surrounded by magazines, fashion shows, all these things. I was like, you know what, Mom, I want to be in one of these magazines one day. So that's how my modeling journey got started.
and just as a little antidote, what does your mom call you?
She calls me the Asian Hitch.
The Asian hitch. Okay, I love
Yeah, she watched the
that.
movie. She's like, wait a second, like that's you, huh?
You're the Will Smith. I think it was Will
Right,
Smith in
Will
the movie,
Smith.
right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That's cute. Um, okay, let's get into the meat and potatoes. So you become a model. That must have been some experience because now you're going to. I've never been in the industry, so I don't know. But models go to parties, models go to
Mhm.
clubs,
Right, right.
models the social life. That must have been pretty wild and different for you because of your upbringing. How did you navigate that?
Right, right. I was partying pretty hard in college being a fraternity, but yeah, being a model is just a different kind of partying. I was in there's a club called One Oak in LA. It was like very exclusive, you had to be on the list and it's a lot of celebrities partied there, Drake, Justin Bieber, DJ Khaled, etc. But so that was different. But then, what's interesting is that as a model at the time, I looking back, I was like, wow, I was in great shape. I had amazing looks, but then I never felt complete. I never felt that I had the confidence because I would always compare myself to other models, right? I go to a casting and 30 dudes look like me, right? Look like me. And they only pick one person. So like whenever I don't get picked, which is more often than not, like I would probably go to like 15 different castings to get one job if I'm lucky. So that took a big toll on my confidence because I thought, wow, like maybe I'm not ripped enough. Maybe I'm too skinny. Maybe I need to grow my hair out. Maybe I need to cut my hair. Maybe, you know, I my nose is too flat. I don't know, right? Maybe my eyes are too small.
Yeah.
All these negative things go into my head. And plus, like other models, female models, they more so date celebrities. They more so date, actors. So for us, we're more like props. So even though my looks and everything youth were at its peak, but were at their peaks, but my confidence was at an all-time low
Yeah.
because of these external things. So
Okay.
that really opened my eyes to different things and understanding mindset and developing that self-confidence because you can't get validation from the world if you don't validate yourself.
You
So
know,
that's
I hear that a lot, and it's easier said than done. But
mhm.
so coming from my background, and I told you my story. After that breakup, I lost all that self confidence, and this concept you need to love yourself first, or you need to accept yourself, or be comfortable in your own skin first before you can be with another person. That's a tough minefield to navigate because especially with rejection, like you said, you would go to a casting call and you were rejected multiple times until maybe you
Mhm.
got that one shot. That's like almost like my life. It's like relationship. I went after the pretty women, but they might have lasted a year and a half, and then they either got tired of me or moved on or whatever their reasons were. So that self confidence or that rejection built up over time. It's like the common denominator is me.
Yeah.
I had no problem getting women. Some of my support group would look at me, and I would go from relationship to relationship, and they would look at me and like, how do you? And then the next woman was more beautiful than the woman before that, but they weren't sustainable,
Right.
And those same support group that were amazed at how I was able to do that were also the ones that told me to stop, slow down, and take a break. So I am a client of yours or a potential client of yours, and I come to you with my story. 3-year relationship gone horribly wrong, cheated on, manipulated, gaslit. My self-esteem is non-existent, but it's been a year and I want to start dating again. How would you work with me?
So my question is, why do you want to start dating?
Oh, that's easy. And you probably get this answer a lot. I'm lonely, and I'm at the age. Well, I don't think it matters what age you are. You want a partner. We're genetically wired. Well, there's probably a lot of debate about that because there are people who can be monogamous and there's people who don't. But we're wired without reproduction, the male and female, our humanity does not go on. So we're wired to find a mate. Now, that mate could just be to procreate and move on. I mean, how many mothers are single mothers out there because they just got pregnant? But there is a part of humanity that is looking for a partner that they can cuddle up on a cold night. They could go to the movies. They can go on trips together. They can fine dining. They can go see comedy shows. They can have great sex. I mean, all of the things that healthy relationships have, and I have yet to have one of those healthy relationships. So why do I want to start dating again? I want what I have never really experienced, a healthy relationship.
I see. And you mentioned a lot of great experiences and a lot of great things you could do in a relationship, but do you do these things by yourself?
I never used to. Because I never was alone. Again, I went from relationship to relationship. So this past year, my audience knows this, but I'll tell you, at the beginning, I'm a beach bum. And at the beginning of the summer, I live right by the beach and I'm a beach bum. At the beginning of the summer, my last girlfriend and I went to the beach for the past 3 summers, every weekend. She was a beach bum and we made a whole weekend out of it. She would come down here for the weekend and we would go there from 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. This summer, all of a sudden, I found myself alone. I didn't have anybody to go to the beach with. Yeah, I have some friends here and there, but it was like a culture shock. I was 3 summers at the beach, boom. Then I had nobody to go with. So people started saying to me, go by yourself. Yeah. Why do you need to go with somebody? But that's a foreign concept to me. But I did it. I pushed myself. And I would go down to the beach and I'd bring a book or I'd listen to a podcast and I would sit there for a couple of hours. And then I did some other things alone that you might do with a partner. I have gone out to eat by myself. I have watched movies by myself. So, but let's take watching a movie, for example, especially these days, except if you're in a cinema, like a theater. But if you're sitting home on the couch and you pick something on Netflix and there's something really wonderful happens, or a romantic scene or a comedy or drama, whatever, and you want to pause it and discuss it or whatever, you have a partner next to you that you can share that moment with. And watching these movies, I watched one last night by myself before I went to bed, and I looked around the room and I'm sitting on my bed and I looked over and there was nobody next to me. And it's wasn't a good feeling is what I'm getting at.
I see. Well, the thing is, you got to be happy being alone first before you can actually attract the right type of woman, because the people that you attract are going to be reflected on the person that you are. You mentioned that you attract a lot of beautiful women, but they all have a lot of drama, right? They all have a lot of drama. So by elevating yourself and being happy with yourself, like I go out to dinners by myself, I go to the pool, like go to the rooftop, have a drink or two, right? But then I'm cool with being by myself or taking a friend. But then if a woman wants to be with me at the same time, that's fine too, because I'm completely happy being with her or without her. That's the peace that you need.
Well, because I've forced myself to stay single and I have done some of these things, by default, I have become comfortable by myself. But this is just 1 year that I've been single, and I've been married twice, and I have been in relationships for 20 plus years. It's not something I'm used to. So I could say to you that I have gotten to the point where I am comfortable by myself. Yeah, I watched the movie last night. I come home every night of the week after work, and I'm home alone all night long. I work on the podcast, or I may go to a meeting or something. But so I think I'm at that phase where I'm comfortable. And if you listened to this podcast 6 months ago, I couldn't even look in the mirror. Today I can look in the mirror and I'm comfortable. So let's say I've gotten past that step. Okay. So let's talk about dating apps maybe. So I come to you and I say I'm on a couple. Well, let me ask you this. How many dating apps should one be on?
Depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for something quick, and also depends on your age group as well. So I would say picking one or two apps that work the best for you, and always pay for these apps.
Yes, I agree with
Give
that.
yourself a better advantage.
Yeah, these free versions are very difficult because you either don't get to see the messages, or the woman has to message you first, or you don't get to see the profile.
You don't even get the publicity that others do. And having great photos, professionally taken photos, are going to elevate you. It's like a resume, right? If you have a shitty resume, if it's not well drafted, then you give it to a company that might not hire you.
Let me ask you this, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I've just heard both sides of that coin. I've heard that don't take professional photos, show the real you. So I got a couple of pictures of me playing. I'm a tennis player, so I play. I got two tennis photos. I ride a bike, so I got a picture of me riding a bike. I got a picture of me sitting behind, just like this, with the headphones on and the microphone in front of me. That's my podcasting side. You're saying that hire somebody who can take these pictures, or do studio type pictures?
No studio pictures. Just show the real you, but with a better camera. So I can have a picture. I can do a selfie right now with my phone, but then it's not going to look as good as someone with professional lighting, professional gear, nice background. My couch is over there, right? So and then me talking, that's gonna look more animated, look more professional, so I can so they can really capture my passion, right? That's one. Like riding a bike too, I could just, take a selfie riding a bike, but it's not going to be the same as, someone else taking a picture with the bike. Correct. 60 miles, 60 frames per second, right?
Now, I also see that there's now a couple of dating apps that are introducing video. You could do 30-second video clips of you doing something.
That's right.
Would you recommend a friend do that? Like,
of course. Yeah. If something you're doing, it's cool enough to put on video. Like, for example, if I'm riding a horse, that's cool, But if I'm just sitting at my home, that's not very cool.
That's boring. No, that's boring.
Right. No one wants to see that.
Okay. All right. So I come to you, and let's say that I've gotten past the stage where I'm comfortable being by myself.
Right.
But there's a difference between being comfortable by yourself and being confident.
Yeah, so it's comfortable is first, right? Being confident comes from competence, right? Understanding your skills. And if you don't feel like your skills aren't good enough, then you're not going to be confident. So
how do I get those skills?
Work on yourself. Like, for example, right now I'm going to the gym 6 days a week. I'm getting more confident in myself because of my work ethic and discipline, right?
And that's interesting because at the beginning of the summer, I ran into somebody at work who built a gym at our job where I work. And we're in the construction business, and he literally built the gym out of some of the material we have there, and nobody knew about it. But one day we were just chatting, and he told me about it, and now he lets me use the gym. So I get there 20 minutes early and I work out. just do upper body resistance training.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you that when I look in the mirror, I see the difference now in my upper body. So it does give you a lot more confidence. It
Mm-hmm. For
actually helped
sure.
my posture. It helped my especially I hate talking about my age, but when you get to be a certain age, there's certain parts of your body that just the gravity doesn't is
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah.
your friend. But I have reversed that though because
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
toning up the muscle. So okay, so that's one way to build the self confidence is
Right.
working
And
out. Okay,
respecting yourself, right? Respecting yourself, dressing better, right? Taking care of your appearance.
I like
Those
that.
are all key, right? Even your surroundings, right? Have you ever seen the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper? He takes a pill and then he's like super smart, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
what did he do in the very beginning after he took that pill? He went back to his apartment. What did he do? Do you remember?
I don't, but
Okay.
yeah, I remember the movie,
He
but I
cleaned
don't.
up his apartment. He scrubbed everything and made it all neat and
That's
nice.
right. Okay.
So that was the first thing. So surrounding yourself with people and surrounding yourself with just a clear space so you can think is super important to your self growth. If my place is a mess, my thoughts are jumbled, I feel like there's so much stuff going on, I can't focus. But if my space is clean and neat, I can focus and I feel good about it. It's like, wow, I'm coming home to a nice place, nice apartment, doesn't smell bad, no dirty dishes or anything that's laying, soaking in the water in the sink, right? Everything's put together, like all my clothes are hung up, right? That makes me feel good. That makes me feel accomplished, you know.
Yeah, me
Navy
too. But
SEALs, Navy SEALs, like even every branch of the military. What did they do when they first wake up? Make their bed, right? It's
right.
because the small things, small accomplishments in a day is going to make a big difference in your confidence. Like, wow, I did this thing in the very beginning of my day. I can conquer way more today.
Yeah, and I am I do that. Although if you did look at the apartment, you would probably think I could tidy it up a little bit. But between work, podcast, and the meetings, and I grandchildren and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
time there's only so much time in a day. But I try to tackle my apartment at least once a week. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing that I do a lot of, which I think everybody should do, is hygiene. I
Yeah, of
think
course.
personal hygiene. Yeah, you say of course, but you would be surprised how many people don't look at themselves in the mirror before they walk out of the house in the morning.
Yeah.
And going back to the photos on some of the dating profiles, I have literally swiping on some of these things, and I come across a woman, and I have to put my head down and go, what was she thinking? What did she look at
Yeah.
this photo before she posted it? Because the hair is sticking up or
Yeah.
blurry, or it's like so. It's like, oh my god.
I get it. Yeah, that's what a lot of times women look and say the same thing about the guys that they see.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, like what did he ever think about it? Like sometimes I've seen my mother's profile and heard the guys that she's swiping on, right? And sometimes the guys, they have an oversized shirt that's, two sizes too big, or they're like this close to the camera.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
a lot of times, yeah.
Um, I do want to give you some time. Your specialty, you're a dating coach for men, but you do specialize in the Asian men community. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. So our upbringing is a little bit different because growing up, if you're in a Asian household, we're taught to go to class, right? Go to school, get good grades, and go to a good college and then find a good job. So we don't really focus on talking about dating until like after college. And a lot of times parents would not really encourage their kids. They give a lot of criticism, right? Hey, why did you get a 98 instead of 100, right? They
Right.
don't say, wow, good job, you got a 98, right? It's like, hey, next time do better, right? So growing up, kids have lower self-esteem, lower self-worth. Even nowadays, most of my clients are six-figure earners, right? They have good careers, good jobs, a decent car, and a place to live, but they feel like they're not good enough. I'm like, why are you so timid when you're talking to this girl? She's a server at a restaurant. Like you have a career, you're so much better on paper. than her.
Right.
Why are you shy? He's like, oh, I think she's better than me. She knows more than me. I'm not interesting, right? There's some of the things that you're talking to me about, like the loss of confidence. Maybe they never had it in the first place. So
Right.
that's something, and that's because of childhood trauma from parents and unrealistic upbringings, right?
And it's cultural. And
Exactly.
it's not just the Asian community.
Right. A
It
lot of
happens in,
foreign immigrants. Yeah.
yeah. Uh I run a support group for people with mood disorders, and there's a couple of women there from the Middle East, and
Hmm.
just what I'm hearing, what their culture is, that it's horrible. Even though they're
Yeah.
living here, their parents, like you, came here, and they
Right.
carry
Right.
the culture over,
That's
and
right.
they're still living with their parents at the age of 33 or 34, and so a lot of what you're talking about is instilled in them.
Hmm.
Yeah. So okay. Um, so all right, I did write some questions down here. How I guess my biggest issue was I have the self-confidence. Let's say I have this, I've done all the work, right?
Hmm.
I've done my apartment's clean. Okay.
Yeah.
I've gone out to dinner by myself. I've gone to the beach by myself. Everything we just talked about. I don't trust women after what happened a year ago. I was
Hmm.
lied to, gaslit, and it wasn't like a 6 month relationship. It was a 3 year
Right.
relationship.
Right.
While I take some responsibility and accountability for staying in it,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
lied to repeatedly. And I don't know where reality started and the lie took over. And going into the dating world now, I am, what would be the good word? Skewed or biased, or
Hmm.
I don't know that I trust what might come out of I'm going on a date.
Hmm.
How to how do we let the my guard is up? How do I
Right.
drop that
Right.
guard?
Yeah. So it's once again, it goes back to confidence, right? Right now, it feels like you're not secure in yourself. That's why you don't trust others because you feel like some people might burn you, right? Whereas like my mindset is like, yeah, like I'm gonna be honest and completely transparent with this person. If they burn me, that's fine. I can find another one better than her, just like her, right?
I
So
like
it
that.
doesn't matter. And also, like if someone crosses me, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna try to make this work because you're the best I can get. No, no. If you cross me, like there's
That's
another girl, like literally after you, that's wanted to come
well,
into my life.
and that was my story. But I this wasn't the first, second, or third date. This was 6 or 8 months in. I had already trusted her. We had
Hmm.
already committed to each other, and then
Right,
that's when all the lies and the mask came off and the true colors came out.
right.
So
That's fine. Then that's when you call it quits with her.
that's what I didn't do. I didn't do that. So
So that's self-respect too. You got to respect yourself or respect your own boundaries that you have and share these boundaries with her. Like, for example, if I were to get into a relationship with someone right now, I would tell her, hey, like, this is what I'm okay with. This is what I'm not okay with. And this is what I'm going to do. If you're going to be okay with that, great. If you can't, then I don't think we're the right match for each other. Right.
even if you already invested 6 months,
No, no,
it's
no. That should be established in the very
the
beginning
very
before.
beginning.
Right?
Okay.
So, like, I used to love going out with my friends, right? And sometimes women don't like that. Like, why are you going out with your friends, right? Women are gonna start talking to you. I'm like, great. If you can't trust me to go out with my friends, then there's you don't have to trust. Then there's gonna be other issues.
Would this be have they met your friends at this point?
No,
No. Okay.
but then they might say, yeah, like my ex went out and he cheated on me. I'm like, great. Why are you comparing me to him? Right.
Yeah. Well, I would think the answer to that would be because they got burned. So,
Right.
like what happened to me a year ago has happened to women.
That's true.
Men cheat as much as women do. So,
Right.
a woman has been burned, and so if she says to you, "You're going out with your friends,"
Hmm.
and she doesn't trust you,
Then how am
that's
I going to
on.
be happy though? How am I going to be happy though? It's like me. It's like if I'm a Ferrari, but you're only putting me in first gear because you're afraid that I might burn
Yeah.
and crash,
Yeah.
crash and burn, right? So I'm not going to be happy, and the relationship isn't going to be good because I'm not happy, and I can't make you happy if I'm not happy, right? So
Okay.
It's about
Interesting.
respecting yourself, respecting your own boundaries and values, right? It's like me, I'm a dating coach, right? I'm gonna have to go out with my clients to talk to women. If you can't trust me to go out with my clients, then hey, it's not gonna work out. And if you feel like, because I get a lot of attention from women, right? So if you feel like you can't handle all these attention from other women, feel like you're competing with them, then hey, you're not a good match. I'm not gonna settle.
Okay, I'm writing down two questions. And so I got two questions for you, and then I'm going to ask you to any final thoughts, and we'll
Sure.
begin to wrap it up. You just brought up a very good word,
Mm,
boundaries.
yeah.
Talk about boundaries. How do I was not good at establishing boundaries in the beginning,
Hmm.
and I can tell you why. The psychology behind mine was
Hmm.
if I tried to establish a boundary and she crossed it, and I was okay with it. I allowed her to cross that boundary. I made it a soft boundary that told her that it's okay to uh, not respect my boundaries. How does one stick to their boundaries? So I have a set of boundaries in my mind, and
Hmm.
how do we stick to them? I'll tell you the story. And I'm sorry, audience, you've heard this 100 times. She went out on a trip to Florida, and she was taking some pictures with this guy that she was down there who's supposed to be a cousin or something,
Hmm.
and the pictures were inappropriate. They were too
Okay.
looking romantic. There was nothing sexual, but they were. And
Right,
I
right,
called her out on it. I said, "These are not appropriate pictures to be
right,
sending
right.
back to your boyfriend." And she said to me, "If you don't like it, there's plenty of men waiting to take your place."
Hmm.
And
That
I
should
said,
have been your
"Oh,
attitude.
well, but it wasn't, because I'm looking at this beautiful woman and I'm thinking I'm never going to get somebody like as beautiful as her, yada, yada." And I know that's poor self respect and poor self esteem. But yes, I should have said at that very moment, well, then, yes, go find someone to replace me. And that would have,
Mhm.
I know her, and that would have blown her away. But yet I relented. I came back and
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, no, 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 I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You
Once your
got to,
boundary is crossed, and she's not going to respect you as a man
no,
anymore. You lost your
no.
freedom.
Okay. So
Yeah, and that's because of your self-esteem, right? You feel like you can't get someone like her because she's so attractive. And by you setting boundaries or letting her go, you're gonna do a disservice to yourself. That's why you didn't allow her to, you just allowed her to walk all over you,
Yeah, I made it a salt boundary.
unfortunately.
I
Yeah.
made it a salt boundary. Um, are you? In your bio, I'm just curious,
Yeah.
and you talk about that you're dating multiple women a week. That you have this, but then I saw another picture in your bio that looked like you might be in a. Are you in a relationship, or are you single?
Right now I'm not in a relationship. I'm just dating, going on dates here and there, like a couple
Okay.
times a week.
No, there was a photo, I think, on one of
Hmm.
your pages where a woman was. It looked like you were a couple.
Yeah. Right,
So
right. I see.
I don't
Yeah, for
know.
these dates, like I'm very clear with women. I'm like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, right? So a lot of these women are very, very, very close. It's like we're dating, but we're not. We don't have any terms.
Right. Okay. All right. And something new I'm doing with my guest now. The name of my podcast is Anonymous Andrew: Life and the Choices We Make. So I'm going to ask you, what was either the worst choice you've ever made or the best choice you've ever made?
Hmm. Worst choice I've ever made in dating or in what?
Yeah, let's stick to the
Okay.
dating world.
Dating world, worst choice I've ever made. I don't think I can say that I
Could
made
be the
any
opposite. It could be
choices.
the best choice you made.
Yeah. The reason why I say this is that I believe everything we do has a consequence. Everything we do
It
leads to something
does.
else. So even if I feel like, wow, like I just got rejected so bad, I feel so insecure. I feel like, I lost my confidence. But then, you build from that. You're like, wow, why did I get rejected? Okay, so next time I know I have to say this, right? And I build from it. That's how, I got started with this because I was terrible with women. And then I got better. So everything I do, there's always going to be a pro and a con, but you got to look at things from a positive perspective. So that's why I don't believe that there's nothing that bad that's ever happened to me in dating. But the best thing I ever did was going out there, putting myself out there and learning about the mindset and developing myself, becoming the best I can be so I can attract the best.
I like that. And that's where what I've been told repeatedly over this past year, and I'm doing it, but it's slow. It's a slow burn. I'm a work in progress, as they say. So
Yeah, yeah.
all right, Eisen, any parting thoughts about your philosophy on dating, your practice,
Mhm.
your coaching?
Yeah. So last thing, I think if you were to work with me, I'm not tooting my own horn. It's you can get to where you want to be in a relatively short amount of time. I'm saying like weeks or close to like, a quarter of a year. That's very fast. I think right now the biggest thing you need is to gain your confidence back. And maybe you don't feel like you're good enough to attract the type of women that you want to attract without any baggages, right? So we got
Right.
to get you there, figure out what's limiting you and break these things down. It's like therapy, right? But related to dating and connecting to yourself and learning to be yourself again.
Okay. And you're based in Austin, Texas?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
And you're in California
I'm
or
in, no, New York City.
New York City? Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool.
So do you work?
Yeah, yeah. Majority of my clients are out of state because there's a lot of Asians in the Bay Area and there are also a lot in New York. So
Yeah. Oh, yes, there are. So you
yeah.
will work on like on Zoom or Skype or whatever.
Right.
You, yeah.
Zoom, we do like hourly sessions and figuring out. And also there's a curriculum to follow. So yeah, it's a full program.
Okay. Where can we find you online? And of course, I'll put all
Yeah,
this in the show
definitely.
notes.
You can find me on the asiandatingcoach.com, or you can just type in Asian Dating Coach on Google. I should be the first one to pop up. Or you can type in my first and last name, Aisenli, on Instagram if you want to talk, connect. I post some free content there as well if you want to view them. And yeah,
Okay. As soon as I get off this podcast episode, I will follow you, and
sweet, sweet.
we'll stay connected. Eisen, thank you so much for joining me today. I did learn more. Every episode I do, I'm just soaking it all in. And one of these days, I hope that I have an announcement to make that I have found
Mhm.
my forever
Yeah,
person.
I
But
got you. If you really want help, man, just talk to me afterwards and I'll, give you some pointers and also I'll definitely take you on as a client if you choose. And
okay,
it's gonna be faster than you think.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Hope is here, man. Hope is here.
yeah, I believe that. I just have to, I guess, believe that. So.
Yeah.
All right, Eisen, thank you so much. You're really brilliant and intelligent, and you are, for the ladies out there, he's good looking. Um, so, um, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right. Take care, Andrew. Thank you.
I would like to thank Aisen Li for joining me, and I apologize, Eisen, for the late airing, but we did get to you. You're in the club of the lost archives, but you made it, and I really do appreciate your wisdom and your time. And speaking of time, can you take a couple seconds and go down to the bottom if you're on Apple Podcasts and leave me a review? And Spotify now allows you to leave reviews for each episode. So if you're on Spotify, please do leave a review for an episode. And maybe tell a friend. If you got a friend who is struggling in the dating world or has a similar story, or is just struggling overall with romance in any way, they may get something from this show. And if you're going to make a decision about committing to somebody, I urge you to pay attention to any of the red flags. The red flags you ignore in the beginning are the red flags that are going to bring you down in the end. And I know that from personal experience. Thank you for listening, and until next time, ciao.